Can you tell us about your musical path and how you became interested in utilizing music to highlight social issues?
Yeah, so I played music as a kid, and I stopped playing music as a teenager because it was something that wasn't cool to do. And then loads of different things happened in my life where I got involved in drink and drugs and different things like that, you know. And I eventually hit a rock bottom kind of point of my life, and I needed to go to counselling and all this kind of stuff. And then in the counselling, she asked me like, what did you do when you were younger? Because I just I felt like it really didn't have a purpose. And I said I played music, and then I bought a guitar, and then I started playing and singing and stuff like that. And then that helped me through counselling and through music. It helped me, like, you know, I started writing songs again, and it became this thing where it was just like a sense of therapy, you know. And then I realized that for me, I wanted to help other people the way music helped me. So I got involved in different charities and stuff like that. So yeah, it became a platform for change for me, you know.
Okay. And what inspires you to write songs about homelessness and the housing crisis?
My own experiences, really. Yeah, I lived in an accommodation I lived with my landlord, and I was a lodger, so which meant I didn't really have a contract with her, so she could like kick me out at any moment if she wanted to. That's how ridiculous it was. Yeah, and like that's like there's no rights in Ireland about that. And I found out about this through a campaign that I was part of called Take Back the City, you know. But before then, like, it was something that was just always like, with my experience of doing stuff for mental health, like I went on to be an activist for mental health, you know. And then through all my activism, I met loads of people who were part of homelessness activism as well. And then I became part of that as well. Like, I met really amazing people, and through that I met some of my best friends and closest friends that I'm still with today. And yeah, it was like from that experience, I just, you know, it's all one circle. It's like, you know, person is on the street probably because they're struggling with their mental health. When they're struggling with their mental health, they'll turn to alcohol, and then the alcohol can turn into them losing their relationships, losing their job, and then end up on the street. So it's all part of the one thing, you know. So it's important. It was important for me to do that kind of stuff.
And can you guide us through the creative process of the song Take Back the City?
Yeah, so when I was involved, I got involved like after I heard that stuff about that I don't have a contract. Basically, I didn't know this information. I didn't know how fragile my life was at the time, you know. And this Take Back the City was a campaign that like some friends of mine got involved in. So I met them through activism. I was randomly at this documentary for it was a documentary about a thing called Apollo House. So Apollo House was this building that was taken over by activists and musicians and creatives and stuff, you know. It's just in the middle of the city centre, and they did a documentary about this. I was involved in this. I went in, I played for the homeless people, you know. So it was that was a really big part of my life. And then they did the documentary, and then through the documentary I met some friends that were at the screening, and one of them was on stage doing a question and answer thing, and they said, we're occupying the houses just up the road from here, and, you know, please come along. So what happened then was I went to the house, and then I found out this information because they had information stalls outside the house, and randomly I just ended up occupying these houses for like, we occupied like 3 or 4 houses for like 6 weeks, you know. And from that, like through that like experience, I met so many people, and I met people who were homeless. I met people who were in hotel rooms. I met people who were like on the streets, you know. I met people who were from different classes and different you know, backgrounds. And we were at one point, we were like, people didn't like what we were doing until they actually understood what we were doing. Like, we occupied these houses that were basically left empty, and when there's like, at the time there was like over 10,000 people homeless, you know, and there is like 200,000 empty houses or something like that. You know,
crazy.
so it doesn't add up. You know, it still doesn't make sense, and it's probably worse now.
Yeah.
So at the time when like things kind of slowed down a bit, and then they just like there was a point where we were evicted from one of these houses by the police, by the guards, and loads of security and all this kind of stuff, which is just an insane time. And then through all this experience, I sat down. So again, like I used songwriting to express how I was feeling and what I'd seen and what I was going through at the time, and that's what I ended up sitting down. Within like an hour I wrote this song. And then like it's been great. It's been amazing, but it's crazy because I wrote this song like in 2018 and it's 2014 or it's 2024 sorry now, and it's worse, you know.
How has the audience responded to the song?
Very well, yeah. Like, so I got to play this song in 2018 to like about 20,000 people on a Dame Street. They did this national housing protest, so it was a few months after we did Take Back the City. The first time I played it on O'Connell Bridge. So we occupied O'Connell Bridge. We stopped the traffic from all the parts of town. We stopped it because we were trying to make a statement. And that day was the first time I played it. And then I played it again at this protest. And now I've played it basically all over Europe. Like I've played it in Germany, I've played it in Ireland, obviously, and I've played it in London. I started playing it in London last year. And from that, I'm realising that there's just so many people going through the same things that we're going through here. You know, it's not just Ireland that's experiencing a housing crisis. It's everywhere. And it's just something I feel like what I do, like in the song, if you hear the song, I chant like whose streets, and the audience say our streets. But I create a protest whatever gig I do. I get everybody to stand up, close their eyes, and I was like, imagine what you're like imagine you're going through the streets and you're protesting for homelessness. I want you to feel that. And even get the response from that is incredible. And I'm like, I had a guy who's his name is Fred, and I played a gig with Fred. He's a guitarist of a friend, and he came up to me and goes, like, I'm from France and I came to London, and I can relate to that song so much because I was nearly going home because I couldn't find somewhere to live, you know. And that means it's touching people, you know. It's really like, it's a really beautiful thing to experience, but it's really sad as well. You know.
I get that. Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this. We appreciate it, and hopefully it will help raising awareness about housing crisis in Dublin. So thank you very much.
Thank you.